Move to New York at 7:45?
Or no, 7:30 and 7:45. I was pushing it to 7:30 and move it to 7:45.
I'm just gonna put timing. I'm just gonna put timing.
Can we get a minute for July?
Nope. At this point.
Trying.
It's like a watch pot never boils. Okay. Let the record show the board reconvened at 8 o'clock and is going to move forward with the regular business meeting. Thank you for your patience. With that, we will go to the superintendent's report.
Sure, thank you very much. Happy summer, everybody. I will keep my report brief by just asking Mr. Chemnitzer to give a short overview of some of the many summer programs that we are running here. Just because it is July doesn't mean our hallways are empty, which is really wonderful.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gately. So we are excited. This week, our ESY, our Extended School Year program, began. And we have many students here, and they're learning and happy already, which is nice. We also will start our Jumpstart E&L program that will start on Monday, July 10th, to provide some extra support for some of our students. That's led by Ms. Tripp, our Director of World Languages E&L. So we're excited for that program to begin. I'm sure you've seen throughout many Parent Square emails. We have some sports camps going on this summer. So we brought that back in an effort to continue the community students and athletes playing sports led by our coaches. So we're excited for that program as well. We have a training coming up July 31st for our Teachers College Reading Writing Project work. Last year we trained teachers and staff members with our writing units of study. This summer we are training staff members, over 30 staff members, on our reading units of study. So we look at our summer, we're looking at trainings, we're looking at technology trainings as well. So when we look at the whole child, we are addressing all aspects from athletics to academics to our student support services. So we're off to a great start and we're excited for the summer.
Thank you. We know that summer is a unique opportunity for rest, but anyone who knows a teacher knows that the summer is also a unique opportunity for all that extra time to get some really important work done. So we look forward to all of the trainings, and thank you to Mr. Chemnitzer and our administrative team who have put so many of these together, and of course to our teachers who are here every day with the kids. That concludes the superintendent's report.
That's great. Thanks, Superintendent. So with that, we'll move into the board report. The board just wants to make the community aware that effective tomorrow, or starting tomorrow, the district-wide safety plan will be posted on the district's website for a 30-day review period. Those that like to follow the board and the district know that this is done annually before being submitted up to New York State, but the community has a chance to comment on the plan as it exists right now. So starting tomorrow, for the next 30 days, the plan will be posted on the district website and allow for comment. I believe, Mr. Fallerino, you want to have a clarification?
Yes, we want to revisit some of the issues being discussed with regard to video versus audio streaming. I wanted to make clear that one of the things that we're attempting to do, and we tried to do it this evening, but we had some technical glitches, we were going to have a live audio feed so that people could listen live, and then of course it would also be recorded. We're also going to try to link all the presentations, there are none this evening, but presentations in the future, so that there will be a live link for the presentations while the audio is being presented. We're going to make sure, see if we can accomplish that. And Mr. Chemnitzer, I think you indicates that we'll be able to do that?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so that way we'll have a audio feed that is live at the time that it's going on, and then it'll also be recorded with the linkage to the what's being presented from the podium.
Great, thank you. That's it for the board report. I'm going to move to open time. Christina? No slips? Okay, thank you for that. We'll move right into the action items. I'm going to group action items 3.1 to 3.13 together. 3.1 to 3.13. The second is Mr. Fallerino. Any discussion?
Yes,
Ms. Megji?
I just wanted to point out 3.13, the transportation costs per student, when it's outside the district, just, I wanted to clarify with Ms. Gastonway, these are the bids that come in, so this goes out to bid,
Yes,
and then you get bids,
Yes.
and this is the.
The winning
And we're still
bids.
paying,
yes,
in one case, $310 per child per day
yes,
to transport a child,
yes,
and $181 for the monitor who has to accompany that child.
correct,
It's insane.
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Maggi. Any other discussion on 3.1 to 3.13? Seeing and hearing no further discussion, I'm going to call for the vote. All in favor? Items pass 5-0. Thank you. Going to group items 3.14 to 3.20 together. May I have a second? Mr. Valerino? Discussion? Mr. Keefe?
On 3.25 on the budget.
Nope,
transfer-
3.20. 3.14 to 3.20.
I'm sorry, I thought you said 25.
It's okay. Any discussion on 3.14 to 3.20? Seeing and hearing no discussion, call for the vote. All in favor? Items pass 5-0. Thank you. Okay, I have a few walk-on items here. First, I have walk-on item number 3.27, 3.28, and 3.29. I'm going to read those first, and then I'm going to group items 3.21 to 3.29. So, 3.27 is a walk-on item for standard workdays for appointed officials. I'll just read it. Be it resolved that the East Wilson Union Free School District hereby reestablishes the following as standard workdays for appointed officials and will report the following day's work to the New York State and local employees retirement system based on the record of activities maintained and submitted by these officials to the clerk of this body. The two positions are district clerk and district treasurer. 3.28 is a walk-on item for consideration for this board is asking New York State school boards for consideration in regards to the current tier system in the school employee retirement systems. Tier, I know that, I just realized that, tier equity and tier 6. So I'll take discussion in a minute on that. I'm actually have to take that out. 3.29 is appointment of a hearing officer upon the recommendation of superintendent of schools. The Board of Education hereby appoints Jody Finer Esquire as the board's designee in connection with the rights afforded with the student identified in confidential Schedule C under Commissioners Reg 102.4 regarding the determination that she has committed fraud on the state exam identified in confidential Schedule D. Now that I've done that, I realize I didn't take a second yet, so I'm actually, if it's okay, I'm going to switch 3.28 and 3.29. So 3.28 is going to be the appointment of the hearing officer. 3.29 will be the employee retirement system. And I'm going to group items 3.21 to 3.28 only. 3.21 to 3.28 only. And may I have a second? Mr. Valerino. Discussion. Mr. Keefe.
3.25 is in there, right?
Yes.
3.25, we're transferring the money, and it's the two places. One is called for kids therapy. I can kind of figure out what that is. The other one is Liberty Post. Can somebody tell me what Liberty Post is?
Can I ask Dr. Mazza to give you that answer, please? Lynn?
Yes. Yes.
Good evening, everybody. Our OTPT are contracted, they were previously contracted through All Island Kids. Their company was taken over by Liberty Post. So it's just a change in name of agency.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other discussion on 3.21 to 3.28? Seeing and hearing no discussion, call for the vote. All in favor? Items pass 5-0. Okay, I'm now taking by itself item number 3.29, which is the school employee retirement system. May I have a second? Ms. Meg G. Discussion? Mr. Keefe, did you want to share with the public what this is?
Sure. This is a request to have the New York State School Boards Association put on its legislative program a change in Tier 6 to make it more equitable with the previous tiers. We are not a legislative body, meaning the New York State School Boards, not a legislative body. All we can do is recommend to the legislature things that we want for the legislature to take action on. This has been suggested by several school boards throughout the state of New York, that we ask the legislature to take a look at equalizing the lower tiers with the higher tiers, Tier 6, particularly with Tier 4. We are not recommending any specific action to be taking. We're just calling to mind a couple of things that when Tier 6 was enacted, it was enacted with the idea from the legislature that at some point they would have to take a look at it because it is grossly different than the preceding 5 tiers. And this is the time to do it. And just, I would call, just as an example, a Tier 1 through 4 teacher with a $88,000 to $90,000 FAS can retire on about $53,000. These are the older teachers that have been around for several years. A Tier 5 teacher, which is in the middle, same $88,000, will retire about $33,000, where a Tier 6 teacher, that's the young teachers, folks, that's the ones that are just starting, at that same $88,000 would retire with a pension of about $23,000. So there's no question that this is having an effect on the ability of school districts throughout the state of New York to recruit teachers, and probably more important, to get teachers to stay in a profession. The average teacher in New York State, quits before receiving vested interest in the TRS, which is 10 years. The average teacher quits somewhere between the 5th and 7th year. And a lot of that has to do with the new teachers recognizing that the Tier 6 is just an inequitable tier. So we'd like to add our name, this recommendation said that we would add our name to the other school districts that are sending it out. Thank you.
So thank you, Mr. Keefe. He is correct in everything he described, but I will simply say on the other side that this Tier 6 in particular, was put forward in 2012, and it was put forward then because taxpayers wanted some significant change to the way the system was being done, and they didn't want the brunt of the pension system on the backs of taxpayers, and they felt it should be more normalized with employees that were coming into the system, and hence the legislature moved forward and created the extra tiers. Is there any other discussion on 3.29? Seeing and hearing no discussion, call for the vote. All in favor? I see Ms. Megji, Mr. Hirsch, and Mr. Keefe in favor. Against? Mr. Fallerino, Mr. Camberg. Motion passes 3-2. Thank you. With that, Mr. Keefe.
Yes, I'm sorry. I have a walk-on, Mr. Camberg.
Okay.
3.30, I guess the walk-on would be numbered. It's entitled Nomination of NYSBA, that's the New York State School Boards Association, Area 11 Director. For clarity, NYSBA is the State School Boards Association. As its name implies, the state is divided up into 12 areas. Nassau County is Area 11. This has to do with the nomination of the director for Area 11, which will sit on the New York State School Boards Association Board of Directors. The resolution reads, resolved that the East Williston Union Free School District Board of Education nominates Mr. Mark Camberg for the position of Area 11 Director of the New York State School Boards Association Board of Directors for the term July 1, 2024 to June 30th, 2026.
Thank you, Mr. Keefe. Is there a second? Mr. Hirsch, discussion. I would just simply say that I'm humbled and honored that my board would consider nominating me for this position, and I thank them for moving this resolution forward accordingly. Any other discussion? Seeing no further discussion, call for the vote. All in favor? Item passes 5-0. Thank you. That brings us to item 4.1. I'm going to take it by itself. May I have a second? Mr. Keefe, discussion? Mr. Keefe?
I read the backup from Mr. Kemnis, and it's good. It makes a lot of sense, but as I look at it, we are accessing or replacing an art teacher, and we've made thoughts as to how we're gonna handle the position this year, and each art teacher gets a piece, and then the piece that was handled in the Project Lead the Way by an art teacher for this coming year will be handled by a technology teacher, which leads me to ask, who is covering the material the technology teacher taught in 2023? Who's gonna cover that? Because this just keeps filling in spots, but we still don't seem to have filled in the spot from the technology teacher.
Sure. So I'm going to try to go through it and certainly jump in if I miss a step. So just to answer your exact question, Mr. Mazer at the Northside School, who was an elementary classroom teacher, is moving out of his regular classroom teacher to cover the class which is now titled
Elementary design.
Elementary Design. So we have replaced his classroom position with another elementary teacher. So elementary design was previously taught by the technology teacher, who is now moving to Willits Road to pick up the technology piece at Willits Road, the Project Lead the Way that Ms. Gomez taught. And Ms. Gomez, as the art teacher, is moving into Ms. Hardy's position. And of course, we know Ms. Hardy just retired. So we are at no loss of art. We have not lost any art for students. We are just kind of moving some chess pieces to put everybody in the position best suited for them.
But the teacher that's now, that you moved over into, whatever you moved over into it at Northside, who's gonna cover what he was doing this year?
We replaced him with an elementary teacher.
Thank you. Okay, good enough. Thank you.
Any other discussion on 4.1? Seeing and hearing no further discussion, call for the vote. All in favor? Item passes 5-0. Thank you. Grouping 5.1 and 5.2 together, may I have a second? Mr. Keefe, discussion? Seeing and hearing no discussion, call for the vote. All in favor? Items pass 5-0. Thank you. Grouping items 6.1 to 6.3 together, may I have a second? Mr. Valerino, discussion? Seeing and hearing no discussion, call for the vote. All in favor? Items pass 5-0. Thank you. Grouping 7.1 and 7.2 together, may I have a second? Mr. Valerino, discussion? Seeing and hearing no discussion, call for the vote. All in favor? Items pass 5-0. Thank you. I'm grouping 8.1 to 8.3 together. May I have a second? Ms. Megji, discussion? Seeing and hearing no discussion, call for the vote. All in favor? Items pass 5-0. Thank you. Before I take the next grouping, I have an amendment on 9.4. The correct date should be June 26, 2024 on 9.4. And I know that we have our, what I believe will be expected appointees here in 9.1, which is Elizabeth Reel. She is, where are you, Elizabeth? Yes? You here somewhere? No? Oh, there you are, all the way back there, I'm so sorry. Then we also have Jennifer Camponia Kearney. You here somewhere? Jennifer? No? No? Not here? Okay, no problem. And I think that Douglas is here. Douglas Fuchs is here. Great, welcome. And let's see. 9.4 is here, which is Aaron Keating. There you are, Aaron, welcome. Anyone else here that I missed? Great. So what I expect will be a positive vote. We'll take the resolutions, and then we'll just ask you to stand, and we'll welcome you, so thank you. So I'm going to group items 9.1 to 9.24 together. May I have a second? Mr. Fallerino?
9.1 to what?
9.24.
I have
Okay, hang on. I have a second by Mr. Fallerino, and is there any discussion on 9.1 to 9.24? Mr. Keefe?
Yes, I do. On 9.18, on the social studies overages, when I first looked at it, my initial reaction was, we haven't even started classes, and already we're looking at overages. But then I read the memo from Mr. Jensen, where he clearly pointed out that this was increased in the budget for 2023-24. So, Mr. Jensen, thank you for putting that in writing to us. Otherwise, I would have had some concerns about it. And I just thought, since you did it the right way, I was going to comment on it. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Jensen.
Thank you, Mr. Keefe. So 9.1 to 9.24, we certainly welcome all our appointees, and we welcome those that are here this evening, and we're so excited. We're especially excited, not only when you come, but of course when family members come along as well, to welcome you to what we believe is a very special community here. You got a piece of that just now while you were standing here, and some of our staff came over and introduced themselves to you. Other staff are sitting with others in the back. We think this is a very special place and a very special community, and we wish you many years of success if this resolution passes. So, with that, I'm going to call for a vote on 9.1 to 9.24. All in favor? 5-0. Welcome. Congratulations. Please just stand up. Yep, good to stand, good to stand. You're way, there we go. Great, thank you. All right, that brings me to the second open time. Michael?
Hello, good evening. With the fiscal year just ending, what is our projected surplus?
So like you said, just ended.
I know, but you still track it, you know, I know it just ended. I know it's not a definitive, but you track
Our
it. so-
spend is looking at between 96, 97%.
And what is that in terms of dollars and cents?
2.8, 2.7, 2.8.
And is that 2.8 minus the 644 or before the 644?
Before.
Okay, so 2.8 before the 644. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for open time? Thank you, Mr. Guglielmo. Okay, seeing no one else for open time, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn the meeting. May I have a second? Let's do Mr. Keefe. Discussion. Now we say have a happy summer. We'll see you in August. I'm going to call for the vote. All in favor? 5-0. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.